In this video, we will take a look at how you can resize, move, and crop an image within Publisher 2013. Images and illustrations are important to any publication as they provide visuals for your readers. So the last thing you want to do when you make most publications is to fill it with nothing but text, because images allow you to make your publication more attractive and more appealing. It's important that these images are the correct size, in the correct location, and then also cropped if necessary. So moving an image to a desired location is fairly easy. So if you're familiar with moving an image within software applications like Word and PowerPoint, then you can do the same thing to move an image within Publisher. So to move an image, you would simply select the image and then drag and drop it to a new location, like this. And that's really all there is to it. Notice though that when you move an image within Publisher, you may see the pink guidelines. And these guidelines come up when you have one edge of your image perfectly aligned with the edge of another object within the publications page. So that can be really nice, and notice that they appear as I move this image so that you can make sure that your images are lined up perfectly, which is a good graphic design best practice. You always want to make sure that an object on a page is aligned with another object on the page. You don't want to just have a lot of images floating around out there with no purpose. So again, these guidelines are available so that they can help you line up your objects on a page in a way that makes sense and looks good to the user. If you'd like to resize an image, there are a couple of ways that you can achieve that task. First, you can select and drag any one of the sizing handles that appear when you have an image selected. So if I select this image here, notice that there are sizing handles all around the outside border. If I choose one of the corner ones, I can create an image that is larger both in height and width. And I can also change the width by grabbing one side, change the height by grabbing the top, until I'm satisfied with how it looks. It's important to keep in mind that you can also resize an image to a specific height and width when you select the image, and then within the Format tab, all the way to the right in the Size group, you specify the specific height and width in the boxes provided. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to select an image and I'm going to resize the height of that image to 5 inches. Notice that when I resize this image to 5 inches by typing 5 and hitting Enter, you'll notice that even though I changed the height of the image, that the width changed as well. I'm going to move this image up just so you can see it a little bit better. And just move some of these images off to the side. The reason that this happens is that by default all images are going to have a setting enabled called Lock Aspect Ratio. This setting ensures that you will not make your image disproportionate, because doing so can cause the image to look too stretched or too compressed. However, it's important to know that if you do not want to constrain the proportions of your image, you can turn off this setting if needed. Within the Format tab, in the Size group, you want to click the More button that's in the bottom right-hand corner of that group. When you do so, it launches the Format Picture dialog box. Notice that there is a little checkbox next to the text Lock Aspect Ratio. Now for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that box and then click the OK button. Now what will happen is if I change the height to, let's say, 3 inches on this image by typing 3 and hitting Enter, the width this time did not change. So maybe that's what we wanted to accomplish, but now notice that the image looks to be a little bit too wide. It doesn't look right, it looks stretched, and it's not attractive, or as attractive as it could be in what we might want to use for our particular publication. So to summarize, making your image look stretched out is definitely not a good thing, so you might want to consider as a best practice to always leaving that Lock Aspect Ratio option selected. But again, there could be times when it's necessary to unselect. Now when it comes to resizing images, there are also 2 options that are available to you should you be using picture placeholders within your publication. Picture placeholders are something that we talked about in the previous tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a picture placeholder within this page. I'm going to resize it just a bit. Now I'm going to insert an image into this image placeholder, and I'm just going to choose an image within clip art of a golf ball. So I'll choose this golf ball here, I'll click Insert, and notice it will be inserted into our picture placeholder. Now you may notice that part of this golf ball image is cut off, and that's because one of the two options I was just alluding to moments ago has been applied to the image within this placeholder. Now these two options you can find within the Format tab and in the Crop group, and they're the two images that are displayed to the right of the Crop button. One of these, the top one, is Fit and the other one is Fill. The Fill option allows you to resize the image so that the entire image placeholder is filled while maintaining the aspect ratio of the image, but notice in this case it can cut it off a bit. Now this option is grayed out within the Crop group because it's already been applied. If I were to choose the top one, Fit, this button allows us to quickly resize the pictures so that the entire picture displays within the image placeholder, and again still maintains the aspect ratio. Notice this time I can see the entire image placed within this placeholder. So these two options can make it easy to either fit or fill an image placeholder depending on your needs. I'm going to go ahead and delete that image. And we're going to shift gears here and have the last thing we talk about in this tutorial be the ability to crop an image within Publisher 2013. Cropping allows you to remove any unwanted parts of an image so that they do not display in your publication. It's important to remember that when you crop an image within Publisher, you're not actually cropping the original image that is stored on your computer or stored online in any way. If you want to crop an image, you first select the image and then click on the Crop button, which is located within the Format tab and within the Crop group. We go ahead and click that button and notice that cropping handles have been placed around the image. If we want to crop this image, we simply move these handles so that we're cropping out any part of the image that we don't want to see anymore. Once we're satisfied with what we've cropped out, we can go ahead and click outside of the image and notice that the image has been changed. Now, keep in mind, and I'm going to undo that action, that if you would like to crop an image to match a shape, you can select that image, click the Format tab, and within the Crop group, you can click the arrow that's displayed below the Crop button. When you click on that, you have the option to crop to shape, and I can go ahead, for example, come in here and crop to a rounded rectangle, and notice now when I click outside the box that the image has been cropped in a rounded rectangle shape. Then I can select the image, click Crop again, and choose to crop the image like I did before, and it still maintains that rounded rectangle. Keep in mind that if you would like to remove the cropping from an image, go ahead and select that image, and within the Format tab and the Crop group, click the Clear Cropping button. And notice that all the cropping has been removed. This concludes our tutorial on how to move, resize, and crop an image within Publisher 2013. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how to work with the adjustment set